We hear a lot about sort of data-driven buying on the network level, a lot of new products and a lot of new things coming out. How does it all shape up? What are the implications of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big part of the press for the past probably six to 8 weeks. You know, it's a nice change. Typically and historically, we've heard a lot about data-driven television as it relates to addressability. Now we're starting to hear all the national and broadcast networks come to market with what they can do in terms of data-infused television. And what that really means is we can take the same type of data that we're working with in the addressable world, match it still against subscriber data, and determine how their networks and how their programs index or deliver against these hyper segments as opposed to the more broad Nielsen demography. And that's a really, really good thing because it's going to now help agencies and advertisers refine and optimize their media buys a little bit better. The challenge, and what we're still debating, is who gets that value, right? So the data could suggest that I should be buying more of or paying more for some of the network's longer tail inventory because data suggests it delivers well against my high value segment. And I agree with them 100%. But when that same data suggests that their prime time hit shows is delivering 20% less, are they going to say, okay, let's follow the data there and reduce the price by 20%? Or are they going to say, oops, supply and demand, it doesn't count that way? So while I think they're all doing a great job of developing the infrastructure and implementing the practice, I think we still have a little bit of discussion on both sides to determine exactly how we're going to execute it and how we're actually going to trade it. We're in our 10th quarter now, which is great. We're up to over 30 people. We're growing quicker than I would have ever expected, and you know, I'm happy to say that we're growing in all 3 of our business units. I mean, the household level addressable piece continues to grow within leaps and bounds, but our over-the-top practice, where we sort of align together all the televisions that are connected to the internet or devices that connect the television to the internet, all of the real, you know, OTT type nonlinear viewing, that piece is growing very quickly. And then the entertainment business that we work with out in mostly in California with the studios promoting the movies on pay-per-view and VOD, that's growing as well. So overall, you know, we have some great people working with us, and it's growing a lot quicker than I would have ever expected. We are at the mercy of the television manufacturer or the device that's connected to the television to provide us, you know, measurement for the advertising. And while they all do have a plan for it, and they all do provide measurement at some level, it's not consistent. So we're still doing a lot of stitching. We're still stitching together, you know, Samsung, LG, Panasonic, Roku. We're still stitching them all together and doing a lot of manual work to create a true OTT initiative for advertisers. But it's important because most of the bigger broadcast and cable networks are now creating apps that are on these televisions or these devices, and people are watching television via those apps on those devices. So we have to figure out a way to serve it, message there, and measure properly. The challenge with set-top box data is, for the most part, it's still owned by the operator. So most of the companies that you mentioned that aggregate set-top box data, well, they may have it all, they're only allowed to release to us what they have the permission of the system to do. Part of what makes TiVo unique and why we like working with them is they have their own set-top box data. They have their own set-top boxes. They license some, but they're able to be a little bit more liberal with the use of the data, or offering the use of the data to advertisers and agencies, than some of the other companies can, because they're essentially their own MSO in that sense.
How is buying changing? How will it change this coming year?
I mean, I think it's going to change every year based on a lot of what we're talking about. Like this coming year, it's going to be all about how an advertiser can refine their segments and target the content based on how it delivers against a more granular hyper segment, in addition to just a broad Nielsen segment. I think that's going to be what we're going to see over the next 12 months.